Hey team, Mike here at After 40 Fitness and after40fitness.ca. Great question came in on a comment from a previous video from Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. Hey Mike, what supplements do you use, or if you use any, and recommendations? That's right in my wheelhouse. I appreciate it, Shannon. Thanks for the question. And just goes to show, good questions like this one get turned into videos just like this one. So if this is your first time to my channel, or if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. Of course, if you enjoy this kind of content in the keto, low-carb, Atkins space, then please do punch that like button. And not only do I use some supplements, I was surprised at how many I actually used when I was putting together this content. In fact, I'm going to stop for a second. We're going to do a little tour down to my kitchen where I've laid them out, and I'll show you how many supplements, what I'm on, and then we can discuss them really quickly individually. It wasn't until in response to this question that I laid out all the supplements I take on a daily basis that I realized how many there are. There are roughly 30 items on the table here in front of you that I take every day. Blew me away when I did this. So what I've done is divided up the roughly 30 into 6 categories to try to explain it better in a more succinct manner. Back here, I've got all the ones I take in and around the gym. Whether it's a HIIT workout or resistance training, it's these. Up in the front is my electrolyte stack because I'm on a keto program. In the front is your general health, your general well-being supplements. In the front, digestive enzymes. Back here is my longevity stack. I plan on living to 105. I have a bet with my son. This is going to help right here. And then finally, in and around my refeed supplements. If you've seen my video on doing a refeed, you know refeeding twice a month is part of my program. It's part of my methodology, so I make sure I do it every other Saturday, but I prep for it to reduce the physiological and any possible psychosomatic side effects. Now, when you look at this list, group of 30, all I can say is thank God I don't have any other vices. Thank God I don't drink or smoke. You spend your money where you see fit. This to me is as close to a vice as I've got. And I do consider supplements almost like insurance. The reason you have insurance is just in case, right? So to me, I'm not convinced that I get everything I need from the food I eat. I'm not convinced I get enough nutrients and minerals and elementals and vitamins. So I supplement. Now, if I'm wrong, sure, you could say, Mike, you've wasted some money. However, the best thing I can say about these supplements is there's no downside. There's nothing I take here in any amount that can hurt me. So if anything, I'll remain net neutral, just minus a few bucks. But hopefully there is some incremental improvement in my health, in my longevity, in my performance in the gym. Now this month turning 51. I will also put a link down below to where you can get these all on Amazon. But if you do decide to do that, you can wait a couple of days. No one beats the prices at Amazon. However, if you are in a hurry or you're impatient, then I'm going to tell you something. Half of this you can get at your local Shoppers Drug Mart or Walmart or Walgreens. Definitely from your health food stores. You don't want to run over to Popeyes or GNC.
The majority of the population has a subclinical potassium deficiency and a magnesium deficiency. Usually people are heavy on the sodium and the calcium, but very low on these two minerals.
It is precisely for that reason that I'm a big fan of promoting big potassium and magnesium. And you know, it's really funny because in the keto space, there's this fear mongering. There's this absolute dogma that you got to be so careful around potassium. The average person can easily use the RDA for potassium as a guideline, which by the way, is 4.7 grams a day. So when it comes to potassium and magnesium, I honestly don't think you can overdo it reasonably. You and I can't reasonably ingest enough. Now, having said that, I'm not a doctor, right? I'm a boot camp coach. I'm a keto coach. But if you have any doubts whatsoever, you should do what I did and talk to your family physician. So when I went to my doctor early on in my Atkins career, my Atkins back in the 90s, and said to him, you know, I'm cramping. Guess what he said? First thing you should do is up your potassium and magnesium. Perfect. How much? And his answer was, I kid you not, until you stop cramping. Well, if that isn't a telltale indicator, I don't know what is. So if you're cramping, you're not taking in enough. Never mind overdoing it. Never mind hyperkalemia. If you have cramps of any kind, of a muscular nature, you need to up your potassium and magnesium. Plain and simple. In the image here, you do see apple cider vinegar. I hope you know by now how good that is for so many reasons. It's a great glucose disposal agent. It also is very acidic, so it helps our stomach digest food. I take a tablespoon before every meal. You see a couple sources of salt there. You see a sea seasoning with iodine as well as a pink Himalayan. You see some magnesium biglycinate. That's my favorite choice. That's 400 milligrams, and I take 2 of those a day. And then the Vega Sport. This is one I just found at Shoppers Drug Mart, at Walgreens, at Walmart. They all sell this one called Hydrator by Vega. And it's a nice mix of potassium and magnesium. In fact, I'm going to show here really quickly the ingredients in it. You can see there's some sodium, you can see there's some magnesium, but it's got 400 milligrams of potassium. So 2 scoops of that in water as I sit through that through the day is just about 1 gram. Now, what I don't show here is I'm also very partial to something called cream of tartar. It's 20% by content is potassium. So a teaspoon provides about 500 milligrams. So I find an opportunity if I do have a cramp, if because of workouts or whatever, I find that the gram I take from Vega is insufficient, I will then take a teaspoon, drop that into a glass of water and swig that in a hurry, and there's 500 milligrams of potassium. This batch is, as you can see in the image, is all general health, general well-being, wellness, if you will. I'm just going to run through them very quickly because you can see them in front of you and you're welcome to research them. I do have a link, as I said, down below to Amazon where you can get any of these if you're so inclined, if you can be patient a couple of days. Starting from the left there, you see some omega-3s, some EPA and DHA, right? The primary omega-3s. And so I have two sources of them. You'll note that the top one is krill, and then down below it, cod liver oil. Going across the top there, you'll see a zinc copper blend. There's so many good things about zinc, whether it's from men's testosterone to general hormonal function to improvements in performance, lifting weights, building muscle, all require zinc. As well, though, you'll see B50 complex. So I'm big in all the Bs. That's what I like about the complex is you get a little dose of all of them, right from B1 through B12. The vitamin C I buy there, doesn't matter which brand, just happens to show a couple of Jameson bottles, but the vitamin C is 1 gram. And I like 3 of those a day. Then you'll notice a D3 K2 combo. Most times you can buy D3 and K2 in a synergistic blend. I like them separately like this so I can control when I take it because I take 2 of the 1000 IU D3s a day, 2. And then you'll see that liquid there, the joint movement, which is glucosamine, MSM, and chondroitin. So especially as I get older, and if you're like me over 40, or in my case over 50 now, then joint health is very important. I make sure I take a cap full, which is about a tablespoon, in the morning as soon as I get up in the morning, and again right before I go to bed. And because of that, I will tell you this, I've suffered my entire life through Taekwondo with bad knees, bad shoulders, bad elbows. But in the last couple of years since I've been taking this MSM and chondroitin, glucosamine, has that ever picked up? Has that ever improved? Next up are the supplements I take in and around the gym. So if you look at this image, I'm going to start in the center with the big cans. You can see creatine. I hope you know what creatine is. It's great for volumizing muscles. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Right next to it, you'll see Amino Complete. And that's essential amino acids. That's not just branch chain amino acids, which are 3 of the 21 amino acids. Essential amino acids is all 9 we must get from our diet. The body can't use the other 12 amino acids to make these 9. The other 2 on top, leucine and citrulline malate, are just personal choices. When I started working out, I used to buy, maybe you do this yourself, I used to buy store-bought pre-workout. I went ahead and do this myself. Buy these ingredients myself and make my own a scoop of each of those 4, good to go. You'll also see coenzyme Q10. We all make this naturally. It's part of our ATP transport chain mechanism in our mitochondria, right, to produce ATP, to produce energy. It's also a wonderful antioxidant. CoQ10 has been used to lower blood pressure. It says slightly, but any improvement is an improvement, correct? CoQ10 can also be used to treat heart failure and other heart conditions, possibly improving some symptoms and lessening future cardiac risks when combined with regular medications. Mentions as well that CoQ10 can treat the adverse effects of muscle pains, liver problems. There's also mention there of it's not stopping, but slowing the progression of Alzheimer's. So again, as I said to you, that CoQ10 being one of those things that I take as a method of insurance, there's just too many benefits not to take it for the couple of dollars it costs. As for NAC, there's 9 benefits of NAC. By the way, NAC stands for N-acetylcysteine. According to Healthline, there are 9 benefits. One is that it's essential for making the powerful antioxidant glutathione. So if you've ever heard of that term glutathione, it is the master antioxidant in our body. Number 2, helps with detoxification to prevent or diminish kidney and liver damage. So just wonderful in that regard. My goodness. May improve psychiatric disorders or addictive behavior. So hey, if you're addicted to sugar like I am, if you're a carb addict, then hey, we'll get some benefit there as well. Helps relieve symptoms of respiratory conditions. So loosening your passageways, allowing you to breathe better, which is why I take it right before exercise. Hey, thinking here. Number 5, boosts brain health by regulating glutamate and then also replenishing glutathione. Hey, that's good. Number 6, may improve fertility in both men and women. Awesome. I don't know if that's important to you. It's not important to me at 51 anymore, but if it is important to you. Number 7, may stabilize blood sugar by decreasing inflammation in fat cells. Wow. I don't take it for that reason, but goodness, that's a good one if you're in the keto low-carb Atkins space. Number 8, may reduce heart disease risk by preventing oxidative damage. Good, we're back to that, about improving, I'll mention of the heart. And the ability to boost glutathione levels may improve immune function. I'm going to comment very quickly on the 3 that are off to the right. Caffeine, aspirin, and ephedrine. If you've ever heard of the ECA stack, this again goes back to the 80s and 90s when the ECA stack was really a thing that we all talked about and did. The ECA stack is very effective at temporarily of increasing our thermogenesis, of having us burn a degree or 2 hotter, because that burns a lot of calories. These next 3 I'll handle very quickly. They all relate to digestion. On the left, you'll notice probiotics, just a case of making sure that the biome, the flora in our biome is well taken care of. Betaine hydrochloride is anything related to do with hydrochloride, you can tell is very acidic. The idea behind betaine is to increase the acidity of our stomach. As we age, you may not know this, but the acidity of our stomach decreases with age. Our ability to get the most amount of impact from the food we eat decreases with age. That also goes for the enzymes on the right, but it actually has got a combination of 2, lipase enzymes and protease or proteolytic enzymes. So not only does it help, as it says, to digest fat better, get more nutrients from our omegas that we ingest, but this one in particular, I picked it because it also has protease enzymes, which are designed to help us break down and get more out of the proteins we eat. Second last section, and this one is on longevity. 2 pioneers in this space, 2 of my favorite speakers are Dr. David Sinclair, who's big in the longevity space, and Dr. Peter Attia. Dr. Attia has a really good YouTube video if you want to look it up later. It's called Reverse Engineering Longevity. And he looks at it from the perspective of looking at centenarians and what's different about them. What can we do to mimic centenarians who make it over 100? Whereas Dr. Sinclair is more interested in the supplements that we can take that improve our immune system, our sirtuins, our epigenetics and genetics, our DNA, our chromosomes, to improve our inner cellular health, allowing us to live longer. Ashwagandha, for example, great for reducing stress, great for reducing cortisol. Who doesn't want that? So I pop that before bed every night, get good sleep. Curcumin, berberine, resveratrol, all very good at promoting NAD, which is a sirtuin booster, which allows our body to do better at maintaining our age, at fighting aging. That's the best way to put it. So resveratrol, in case you don't recognize that name, that is that powerful antioxidant that comes from the skin of red grapes. Berberine, on the other hand, do some research on berberine. It's actually more effective than metformin at controlling blood glucose levels, so very big for us in the keto Atkins space. But it also has the ability to drop all-cause mortality. That it actually, I'm going to bother to bore with the details. I'm going to do a whole video just on berberine and steal all of Dr. Sinclair's work. I'll finish with the supplements I take in and around my refeeds. So if you've ever seen my video on refeeding, some people call them cheat days. I refuse to because they're planned. They're part of my regimen. They're scheduled, therefore they're not a cheat. That's the definition of not cheating. My boot camp crew, myself, anybody who listens to me, does incorporate 2 meals a month, a high carb meal, right? Just an opportunity to go out and enjoy life, makes this regimen of ours sustainable. But that high carb meal does a few things, right? It gets the body to bump up its metabolism. It resets leptin. And in general, I find it's very good if you've stalled toward the end of that 2-week span. I find that this often is a lot for people that the week following a refeed to talk about new losses, new fat loss. Oh, it's so good. But there are some physiological impacts if you've gone 13 and a half days of ultra low carb, higher fat, higher protein. And so these supplements you see in front of you are designed to help assist with partitioning the glucose, that abundance or that bolus of glucose that we take in on a high carb meal. Again, the berberine shows up twice because remember I mentioned how it was more effective than metformin, along with the ALA, the alpha lipoic acid, and the chromium. Again, I'll link below down to my video where I talk about these glucose disposal agents, is what they're called. GDAs, glucose disposal agents, are designed to help partition the glucose out of our bloodstream as quick as possible into muscle glycogen, not into adiposity, not into fat storage. So you see the 3 there, chromium, ALA, and berberine. I also show cinnamon and apple cider vinegar. that collectively make up my refeed stack. Well, if you stuck around this long, I hope you got some information you can use. Thank you. That was long and drawn out. Now you understand the supplements I take and why. Hopefully that made some sense to you. Again, I appreciate the question from Shannon. Good question, led to a video just like this one. So please, if you have a comment or a question, don't hesitate to throw it below. And if I missed out on any really important supplements that you think are worth mentioning, please do drop that in the comment section. I'll certainly investigate it. And on the update to this video, I'll include it. On that note, appreciate your time. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Pound that like button if you enjoyed any of the content. I'll see you in the next one.